in that time.
Matt, can you just kind of speak to the potential this team has as a rebounding team, especially offensive rebounding? It seems like a nice little, I guess, kind of cushion for your offense, even when things maybe don't work as well as you'd like.
Yeah, I mean, I think just the effort that you saw from, Zach and Caleb and Trayveon on the glass. If you play good defense, you're going to have more misses. And then obviously, and then from an offensive standpoint, just getting those offensive rebounds and then being smart about your surroundings, whether you can go right back up or spray it out for those threes. So those are pretty high percentage threes. But if you can hold them to one shot and dominate the glass and then get opportunities at the other end from that, and you're just going to put yourself in a great position. Whether it's transition or rebounding, you got to be able to steal points against great teams. And I think that's what you see a lot in the Big Ten is teams setting their defense, making good decisions on the offensive end, and whether it's make or miss, setting their defense and making you go against that set defense. So you got to then steal it somewhere, and whether that's execution or whether that's offensive rebounding. So I think we definitely just got to keep working at it and just, especially offensively, just don't accept box outs and just keep coming. Sometimes you can't get it and you move the guy. The guy moves and you're opening up space for somebody else, or you can get a tap back and just keep it alive. But I was pleased with our effort tonight. I thought our guys did a great job on the glass.
How pleased are you with what you wanted to work on both individually and collectively all throughout the preseason, and how that's carried over into game action now through the first week and change?
Yeah, well, I think each game you see defensively, we're making improvements and we're better, but you still see our breakdowns. We're still having breakdowns, but they're diminishing. They're getting less and less, and that's what you want to be able to do. A lot of it for us is concentration, just being in the right place, and just having discipline and doing our job. When we do our job and stick to our rules, then we just stay connected as a group. But we just got to keep improving and keep getting better. But we've definitely put ourselves in a better position offensively, in my opinion, than defensively. But yet we're still, we're still playing different styles, and now we'll get a real test in our next tournament with the teams that we're going to play.
Coach, what's it been like to watch Trayveon's kind of career and the journey he's had since he's got to campus, from when he first arrived to now being a 1,000-point scorer? Yeah.
Well, it was great for him. I didn't realize that until after we talked to the team that he scored 1,000 points. So that's, just a fabulous honor for him. He's done a much better job of kind of locking in and focusing. Like kind of started games. He was so good for us last year finishing games. And that's, if you could pick, that's what you would rather have, some guy who's good in the last 5 minutes of the game. And so he made a lot of clutch plays for us, and he's just been more consistent. A lot of him coming off the bench, I keep talking to people about it's still a positive. You know what I mean? Like, it's still a positive. Like, he didn't do anything wrong. I think you can see, the personnel that we have. But now when you look at those numbers together, and both those guys playing 40 minutes, like, you get Zach Edey in there wailing on you for 4 to 5 minutes, and then you want to break, and here comes Trayveon Williams, and he's fresh. And so, but no, he's great. He has for guys that can really see the court and pass, sometimes they thread the needle a little bit too much because they see things other people don't. But he has one of the best feels of anybody I've been around in terms of passing and knowing what's going on. Sometimes he overdoes it. He had 2 layups tonight, and he's so unselfish. He's passing the basketball out where he needs to, just take those layups and score the ball. But he's been great for us.
Just the defensive intensity that first half, how big of a step forward was that for this group?
I think it was huge just because we were active, our hands, we were quick to our double teams right away. We didn't let them get established down low. We were fortunate because a lot of people are going to drag us out and either drive us or shoot threes against our 5 men if they have someone that can do it. Once you can't do that and then you can't stop us down low, we got you in a bind. And for us, now being active on those guards and not letting them get in and just trying to bottle them up to the best of our ability, I think you really saw that. It wasn't one of those like perfect halves defensively, but it was so much better than before. We were really active there for about a 10-minute stretch.
When you talk about your offense being ahead of your defense, and we talk about concentration a lot on defense, and when things are going the way they're going offensively, how do you keep them on edge that they have to get better defensively and not just outscore people?
Well, it's going to affect some of them as you go forward. You get in closer games. I think that's how you affect. That's how you keep them on edge, and they understand that. Like now, when you get into tight games, you're gonna stick with people that can run things, can execute things on the offensive end, and they can do their job defensively and get things done. So those people that are just a little more detailed and a little more disciplined in our group will always be above. But I also think it can be game to game. Like some guys will just kind of establish themselves as the people that I just described. And then some people will probably be more game to game with that. And at times you might not play and you did nothing wrong. It's like I mentioned before about people that come off the bench. People look at it as such a negative. And we got more than 5 starters. It's just the way it is. You know, and like we've talked about before, you'd rather have more players than less players.
The next 2 games are going to tell you a lot about where you are right now. How much are you looking forward to just seeing where you're going to go from here?
I'm just looking forward to playing a quality opponent in North Carolina. You know, they have great individual players. They're like everybody else. They're trying to kind of find themselves, especially defensively. We're all trying to kind of piece it together early in the year. And most teams are scoring more points. And even though they might win by 15, 20, 25 points, they're also allowing a lot of points. That's what we really want to kind of, you know, sharpen our pencil and be better from a defensive standpoint, because we know, you know, just how talented North Carolina is and all the weapons that they have. So, yeah, it's exciting. It's exciting to play in those tournaments. And they're definitely games that can help all of us come tournament time.
Coach, your post doubles were very aggressive early, and I thought knocked them back on their heels, and they weren't able to make passes out of that. And I thought that really was an interesting strategy. Is that something you're going to do a lot for a lot of posts, or is that a scouting report issue where if the perimeters are a little bit better, you might not go as hard or as often? How do you see that playing out down the road?
Yeah, we double a lot. We double a lot. Every now and then if we're late, it'll look like we're not doubling, but we're just late. And sometimes when we're late, we just stay one-on-one because we don't want to be exposed. We have a lot of work because we work against the double so much with our size. And we've had a lot of big guys through the years. So we could, you know, kind of break down how we expose each other in practice. So we know the kind of the pitfalls of everything. Like dealing with Trayveon in practice and doubling him is a chore. Dealing with Zach doubling him the way he can go over you is really hard. So like we're dealing with guys and are probably the hardest people to double in the country. You know, like Hunter Dickinson's a really tough guy to double. Kofi Coburn's a tough guy to double. But you'd rather double them than stay one-on-one. You can generate some offense that way because now you got 2 people on the ball if the ball moves quickly. But no, we try to get there. We try to take what they run and just cheat to the best of our ability without giving something up and then getting there quick. A lot of it has to do with them turning their bodies and what they can see. Because the people now that are zoned off outside of the person ball side, because we stay ball side, is now it's 3-on-2 weak side. But we just tell them to read what that person can or can't see. And then we just play off of that. And you get enough repetition off of that. And especially the guys that are right-handed, and you get them on the other block and they got to turn to their other hand. A lot of people aren't good turning the other way. So we're going to get you on that side as much as we can because they're more prone to turn it over that way.
You mentioned earlier having more than 5 starters. Some guys just come off the bench. That's the way
Right.
it is. Not every player, college basketball player in America, instantly buys into that. You have a guy of great stature who has bought into that. What's that say about him? How
Yeah.
special is that?
Yeah.
from a
Well,
coaching
I
perspective?
don't think he agrees with it, but he buys into it. So I think you show that. I don't want them to agree with it. You know what I mean? Like I don't want the guys that come off the bench to agree with it. I want them to be professional about it. I want them to understand the big picture about it and then go out. No, it's not personal, but now you still got to go out and play well. Like you got to have a clear mind. And their job when they came to Purdue wasn't to start. Their job when they came to Purdue was to help us win. And so our guys that are older, they understand that. I think it's hard to go through that, especially when you've started before. But if they've been around me, they know nothing's final, nothing's concrete. I'm not going to do it to appease somebody. You know what I mean? Like I'm not. I'm going to do what I think is best for Purdue. But it does say a lot for Trayveon how he's handled it. You can see if they handle it maturely is how they play. So they show their maturity when they play well. If you come off the bench and you're mad about it and you're really upset about it, you normally don't play well. Like you got to have a clear mind. You got to go there. So the guys that have handled it well, you'll see that consistency from them because they're good players. They've been in a lot of games. But we have to do what's best for us. And they timeshare anyways. right? You just go look at our stats. We timeshare a lot. Doesn't mean it always stays that way, but throughout the course of the year, you just got to keep your shoes tied and be ready.
One other